Welcome to episode 2 of A Creation Stories podcast with myself, Chris Smith. This episode features 2 stories from the Comanche native population of North America. The first story is repeated here verbatim as found at native-languages.org. Copyright 2020. Quote, "This version of the legend comes from Stith Thompson's 1929 collection, Tales of the North American Indian." Long ago, 2 people owned all the buffalo. They were an old woman and her young cousin. They kept them penned up in the mountains so that they could not get out. Coyote came to these people. He summoned the Indians to a council. "That old woman will not give us anything. When we come over there, we will plan how to release the buffalo." They all moved near the buffalo enclosure. "After 4 nights," said Coyote, "we will again hold a council as to how we can release the buffalo. A very small animal shall go where the old woman draws her water. When the child gets water, it will take it home for a pet. The old woman will object, but the child will think so much of the animal that it will begin to cry and will be allowed to keep it. The animal will run off at daybreak, and the buffalo will burst out of their pen and run away." The first animal they sent failed. Then they sent the killdeer. When the boy went for water, he found the killdeer and took it home. "Look here," he said to his cousin, "this animal of mine is very good." The old woman replied, "Oh, it is good for nothing. There is nothing living on the earth that is not a rascal or schemer." The child paid no attention to her. "Take it back where you got it," said the woman. He obeyed. The killdeer returned. The people had another council. "Well, she has got the better of these 2. They have failed," said Coyote. "But that makes no difference. Perhaps we may release them, perhaps we shall fail. This is the 3rd time now. We will send a small animal over there. If the old woman agrees to take it, it will liberate those buffalo. It is a great schemer." So they sent the 3rd animal. Coyote said, "If she rejects this one, we shall surely be unable to liberate the game." The animal went to the spring and was picked up by the boy, who took a great liking to it. "Look here, what a nice pet I have." The old woman replied, "Oh, how foolish you are. It is good for nothing. All the animals in the world are schemers. I'll kill it with a club." The boy took it in his arms and ran away crying. He thought too much of his pet. "No, this animal is too small," he cried. When the animal had not returned by nightfall, Coyote went among the people, saying, "Well, this animal has not returned yet. I dare say the old woman has consented to keep it. Don't be uneasy. Our buffalo will be freed." Then he bade all the people get ready just at daybreak. "Our buffalo will be released. Do all of you mount your horses." In the meantime, the animal, following its instructions, slipped over to the pen and began to howl. The buffalo heard it and were terrified. They ran toward the gate, broke it down, and escaped. The old woman, hearing the noise, woke up. The child asked, "Where is my pet?" He did not find it. The old woman said, "I told you so. Now you see the animal is bad. It has deprived us of our game." She vainly tried to hold the buffalo back. At daybreak, all the Indians got on their horses, for they had confidence in Coyote. Thus the buffalo came to live on this earth. Coyote was a great schemer. This story is repeated verbatim as presented at indigenouspeople.net. Copyright 2015, compiled by Glenn Welker. Skunk outwits Coyote. Coyote was going along one day, feeling very hungry, when he met up with Skunk. "Hello, brother," Coyote greeted him. "You look so hungry, and so am I. If I lead the way, will you join me in a trick to get something to eat?" "I will do whatever you propose," said Skunk. "A prairie dog village is just over that hill. You go over there and lie down and play dead. I'll come along later and say to the prairie dogs, 'Come, let us have a dance over the body of our dead enemy.'" Skunk wondered how they would ever get anything to eat by playing dead and dancing. "Why should I do this?" he asked. "Go on," Coyote said. "Puff yourself up and play dead." Skunk went on to the prairie dog village and pretended to be dead. After a while, Coyote came along and saw several prairie dogs playing outside their holes. They were keeping a distance between themselves and Skunk. "Oh, look!" cried Coyote. "Our enemy lies dead before us. Come, we will have a dance to celebrate. Let everyone come out and then stop up the burrow holes." The foolish prairie dogs did as he told them. "Now," said Coyote, "let us all stand in a big circle and dance with our eyes closed. If anyone opens his eyes to look, he will turn into something bad." As soon as the prairie dogs began dancing with their eyes closed, Coyote killed one of them. "Well now," he called out, "let's all open our eyes." The prairie dogs did so and were surprised to see one lying dead. "Oh dear," said Coyote, "look at this poor fellow. He opened his eyes and died. Now all of you, close your eyes and dance again. Don't look, or you too will die." They began to dance once more, and one by one Coyote drew them out of the dance circle and killed them. At last, one of the prairie dogs became suspicious and opened his eyes. "Oh, Coyote is killing us," he cried, and all of the survivors ran to unstop their holes and seek safety in the burrows. Skunk then stood up, laughing at how easily Coyote had worked his trick. He helped gather up some dry firewood, and they began roasting the prairie dogs that Coyote had killed. The cooking meat smelled so good that Coyote decided he wanted to eat the best of it himself. "Let's run a race," he said. "The one that wins will have his choice of the most delicious prairie dogs." "No," replied Skunk, "you are too swift. I'm a slow runner and can never beat you." "Well, I will tie a rock to my foot," Coyote said. "If you will tie on a big rock, I will race you." They decided to race around the bottom of the hill. "While I am tying this rock to my foot," Coyote said, "you go ahead. I'll give you a start and then catch you." Skunk began to run and was soon out of sight around the hill. Coyote tied a rock to his foot and followed, slowly at first, but he soon kicked the rock loose and doubled his speed. Along the way, however, Skunk had found a brush pile, and he dashed in there and hid. As soon as he saw Coyote go racing past, Skunk turned back to the fire. He raked all the roasted prairie dogs out of the coals except for 2 small bony ones that he did not want. Then he cut off the tails and stuck them back in the ashes and carried the meat away to the brush pile. Meanwhile, Coyote was still loping around the hill, confident that Skunk was running just ahead of him. As he hurried along, he said to himself, "I wonder where that fool Skunk is. I did not know that he could run so fast." He soon circled back to the cooking fire and saw the prairie dog tails sticking out of the ashes. He seized one, and it slipped out. He tried another one. "Oh, but they are well cooked," he said. He tried another one. Then he suspected that something was wrong. Taking a stick, Coyote raked through the coals, but he found only the 2 bony prairie dogs that Skunk had rejected. "Someone must have stolen our meat," he said, and then he ate the 2 small tasteless ones. Skunk, who by this time had feasted on the delicious meat, had crept to the top of the hill and was looking down at Coyote. As Coyote began searching all around to see who might have stolen the meat, Skunk threw some prairie dog bones down upon him. Coyote glanced up and saw him. "You took all the delicious prairie dogs," he cried. "Give me some of them." "No," Skunk answered. "We ran a race for them. I beat you. I'm going to eat all of them." Coyote begged and begged for some of the delicious prairie dogs, but while he was still pleading, Skunk swallowed the last morsel of meat. He was a better trickster than Coyote.